think that'd be great. But whenever, if you want to wait for a few minutes, if you're expecting a few more people, that's fine as well. And then Ryan can start the recording, and this will be up online.
Of STEM. I really want to take this opportunity to welcome you to this training session, and thank you for taking your time this morning to do this and to help us out with our EDD competition. The majority of your communication at this point has come from Elizabeth McLean, who is the associate director here, and she was called to a meeting today in California, and so I am going to be heading up the introduction and the closing. But the meeting today really is to help you navigate through the innovation portal to help us judge the EDD projects. And leading that today will be Ryan Harkleroad and Elliot Mork from the PLTW organization in charge of the innovation portal. And so I'm going to turn it over to them to walk through the rubric and everything about the competition. And we'll have some time at the end for questions and so forth. So Ryan, Elliot, if you want to take over, that'd be great.
Yeah, thank you so much, Paul. Again, welcome everyone to the webinar. I just want to make sure everyone can see my screen. It looks like I have talked to a couple people. It looks like you guys can see my screen. If you can't see my screen, this would be a great opportunity. You will notice that there is a chat feature in your GoToMeeting box. So just go ahead and type in there if you're unable to see my screen, and we'll look into that as well and try and get that fixed as well. Like Paul said, my name is Ryan Harkleroad. I do currently work for Project Lead the Way. My position here is Partnerships Manager, which essentially is where I see day-to-day operations of current and prospective partners. So I kind of manage different portfolios and different accounts along those, and so do the day-to-day operations. And I am joined here with Elliot as well. If Elliot, you want to do a quick introduction?
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. Elliot Mork, Director of Partnerships here with Project Lead the Way. Work with external partners for Project Lead the Way. As a large part of my role is managing the innovation portal as the product owner. So that's for supporting all EDD courses. That's 3 letters EDD. It's the capstone or mostly senior level course for the engineering pathway of Project Lead the Way. So these students that you're going to be judging their portfolios on have been utilizing an entire pathway worth of experience on the engineering side during high school, and then a full school year to actually put together these projects that you are going to be evaluating. So the quality is quite impressive. I'm constantly impressed when I go to capstone events and I get to see the projects on the innovation portal from these students and the level of work that they do. So it's a pretty powerful thing when student work gets to jump outside the classroom, and that's really what this entire EDD course is about, is connecting students to industry partners. A lot of students you'll see are partner with industry and professionals, engineering professionals, work and collaborate as mentors together with them, and then your role here at the end of it is to be the judge and evaluation at the end to kind of evaluate their work based on a standard rubric. So thank you very much for taking your time to do this. These competitions would not be able to happen without the time that you're volunteering to do this evaluation work with the students. But there's several statewide competitions and a national competition hosted on the innovation portal, and none of that would be possible without you volunteering your time. So thank you very much for spending some time with us.
Thank you, Elliot. I will go ahead and kind of move along with the training just so everyone's aware. We are recording this training as well, so if there's something that maybe you want to come back to or review how I got there, you will be getting a recording of the training. Either Paul or Liz will be sending that out to you in a couple of days or shortly after this webinar. So real quick, I just kind of want to briefly run through the agenda, kind of schedule, or what we'll be covering today. Again, welcome to the training. We'll go over on how to create your own innovation portal account and making sure you are connected to the competition, as well as how to access the portfolios that are assigned to you. So just because you can log into the innovation portal, you then need to learn how or be able to navigate to where you're actually going to review the portfolios. We'll go into great detail about the rubric and reviewing the portfolios and seeing examples of other work that can be provided, additional resources like that, as well as there will be some important dates that we'll keep kind of touching upon throughout the kind of the theme of this, and that is making sure the reviewing portfolio time frame. So again, Around June 13th, all portfolios will be assigned out to the judges, and then Paul and Liz ask that you have those all reviewed and turned into them or submitted to them, I guess I should say, by the 27th of June. And again, if you have any questions with navigating around the Innovation Portal, Elliot and myself do have a shared email address, which is innovation@pltw.org. And we both do work out of there, so we can respond to you in a very timely fashion as well. So moving right along here, I always like to kind of go over, because I know there's different people at different stages throughout the competition on where they are, and that is getting connected to the competition. So by now, you should have received an invite inviting you to be a judge for the competition. Once you receive that invitation, you just simply need to click on that, and if you are new to the Innovation Portal, it will prompt you to create an account, and you'll follow the steps on creating an account. It's very general information. You create a username, password, what organization you're from, general information like that. If you have judged in the past, it should ask you to log in. I understand it's probably been a year since you've logged into the Innovation Portal if you are a returning judge, so there is a forgot password link as well as a forgot username link there as well that you can click on to help you kind of navigate in and remember those logins as well. So once you receive that invitation, you accept it. And once it's been officially accepted, you then are officially accepted to that competition, and you're connected there as well. And we'll go through to how you can make sure you're accepted or you've approved that invitation now, so you don't have to worry about doing that on the 13th of June, next Tuesday, and you're scrambling because you maybe only can review portfolios on a certain time. So you can kind of do some pre-work to make sure you are connected as well. And if you haven't received that invitation, or if something's kind of funky with that, don't be afraid to email MSOE, and their email address is there mentioned as well, which is the pltwi@msoe.edu. And I believe Liz and Paul will be able to answer those questions and get that invitation sent out to you as well from there. So that's kind of how to get connected to the Innovation Portal and the competition. We always like to kind of go over this a little bit as well, so everyone can understand how students are creating their work. Elliot talked about how this is a capstone course for the students, and they've been working on these projects all year. Well, how does that all work? What's it all working like? It's the best way to describe it is it's very similar to a 3-ring binder. So back 15 years ago, before innovation and technology, a lot of times people would put together a portfolio, all of their designs, drawings, pictures, research, and put that all in a portfolio and then turn it in that way. Essentially is what the Innovation Portal has done. We have digitalized that, and students can upload pictures, videos, drawings, put in text, all of that through their portal and Innovation Portal by creating a portfolio. So essentially what will happen is one student will create a portfolio, and then from there they can invite project partners. So the other groups, so their group can invite 2 to 3 other individuals, or 4 or 5, however many they see fit, and then all 6 of those individuals are owners of that portfolio, and they all can make changes on it. So they're not having to pass the 3-ring binder around and making changes. They all have real access, and it's always automatically saving. And then from there, that group or that project can share their portfolio with their individuals or with their teachers as an observer. And that allows teachers to then be able to log in there, make sure the students are making progress, as well as provide valuable feedback to them. You need to go into more detail with this. Too much detail over this area. Providing that feedback to them so teachers have access to go in there, as well as we do have a program here where they can invite project mentors. So sometimes teachers will look for project mentors in their community, other maybe local engineering firms, local business leaders in the community, to where project mentors can then review student work as well and be able to provide them real-life valuable information and feedback as well. So that will give them, you're covering this area too much, go into more detail about this. That's a really good idea. You really need to expand on that. So the project mentors and the teachers all kind of are giving the students feedback throughout the entire process as well. And then once that portfolio is ready, there, the students will have the ability to submit their portfolio. And they can submit that to multiple competitions. So it's just not one portfolio that can only go to one competition. One portfolio can go to multiple competitions. So if there's multiple opportunities available, they are submitting it to multiple things if they qualify. Because again, we hold Oklahoma competitions, Wisconsin competitions. Every once in a while there will be a national competition as well. So students are able to submit their work to multiple competitions, as well as students aren't confined to just one portfolio. Students have the ability to submit to multiple or have multiple portfolios. So maybe they have one idea with one group and they have another one for another project or another group, and that's perfectly fine. It's all different. Each person kind of owns just the portfolio they were invited to be an owner for or that they initially created, as well as students do have the ability just to have their own portfolio and kind of be a one-man show as well. So that kind of talks about how the portfolios are created, submitting to competitions and opportunities, as well as the feedback that students potentially are receiving throughout the school year as well. From here, I normally pause it to see if anyone has any questions initially about the Innovation Portal or anything like that. And I'm going to go ahead and actually log into the Innovation Portal, and that will allow for you to kind of get in there and the nuts and bolts on where you need to be going, everything like that. So while I'm logging in, are there any questions or anything that they have? This is a relatively small group, so do feel free to just either unmute your microphone and ask a question, or again, there is that chat feature in the icon as well. Okay, not seeing any questions. I will go ahead and continue on. Again, just so everyone's aware, the email address to go to the Innovation Portal is just simply innovationportal.org. And when you go there, you just can log in. There was a login, as you just saw me do. There's a login in the top right-hand corner, as well as you can log in here as well. So this is, again, the innovation@pltw.org email address that we use. So right when you log in, there's the My Portfolios. More than likely, you won't see anything in this area because this is where the students are creating their portfolios. So students have the ability to create new portfolios, as well as go in there, share them, and everything like that. My Reviews. We'll cut on this a little bit further when we get a little bit deeper when it comes time to start reviewing portfolios and covering that piece of the webinar. However, this is where you're going to go after June 13th or on June 13th and see the portfolios that have been assigned to you. So they will be under My Reviews. My Notifications. If by chance maybe you deleted that email that was sent to you where you were invited to be a judge or something along those lines, or when the portfolios are assigned to you, they all will be under My Notifications. So again, some of these are obviously a little dated, but you'll see you have been assigned to review the submission. That's letting you know that you have officially been assigned, and that's there for you, as well as this is where you can go to accept that invitation to be a judge as well.
Yeah, and Ryan, I can jump in here a little bit here. Liz was letting us know that some of you might not be on this call, but some judges were having trouble getting the emails from the Innovation Portal to come through to their email address. And so this is another option you have. Once Liz sends that invitation to you, if you don't get that email and she said that she sent it to you, you can log in to the notifications and you can see and accept to be a judge here without ever having to see that email. So if you deleted it or it's not coming through a spam filter, I know some schools, and we work with Lockheed Martin to judge some of these, and their emails are pretty locked down, and so they've had trouble getting some emails too. So this is another alternative to actually getting an email.
All right, as well as Elliot and myself will be staying on the call after the webinar is over to answer any questions as well. So if you have any issues or anything like that going in, you can go from there as well. And then we have the opportunities, which from here you will see that we do have the Wisconsin Engineering Design Competition opportunity. So this is where students are going to essentially read about the competition, learn more about it, what do they qualify, what are the prizes, as well as I would suggest to go here as well so you can learn about the competition. We have a little bit of background information, what the prizes are, just some general information for you, as well as we have a learning center, which a lot of students utilize as well when it goes over scored examples, best practices, getting connected, just additional resources for students to help them when it comes time to create their portfolios. So that kind of gives you a little bit of background and navigation around the Innovation Portal. So I'm going to go back to opportunities because you see this is where opportunities is listed now. Now, because the competition for student submissions, I believe, will be closing, I think it's actually this week if I remember correctly.
Friday.
Yep. Thank you. So it's going to be closing Friday. So come Friday evening, I think it's 9 o'clock Central, we're closing. This Wisconsin, because it's not going to be current anymore, it's actually going to navigate all the way over to PAST because it's no longer an open competition. So if you're wanting to look in there or navigate to portfolios that you want to be able to review, you can go into PAST and you'll be able to find that from here as well. So, okay. And then give me one.
One thing to point out here, you can see the 2016 Wisconsin Engineering Design Competition. That's last year's competition for the same competition that you're going to be judging, but for the 2017 version. So this is currently in the PAST bucket. As soon as the 2017 competition moves over to PAST, and that'll happen on Friday at 9 p.m., so you're going to be logging in and finding it over here. Because you're going to be judging after the submission date when students are actually done with it. The 2016 competition will then disappear when the 2017 jumps from the current to the old or the past competition bucket. And then I think there won't be any active competitions posted after the Wisconsin one moves over because this is the last competition of the season. With school letting out, then more will be posted in the fall and then more competitions hosted in the fall. But you're going to need to navigate to that past button to find the competition again after Friday.
As well as there are other ways to review your portfolios as well. So don't feel that just because it's not there or maybe you can't find it or you forget this step, that's fine. Because one of the easiest ways that I always like to be able to see my reviews or the reviews that have been assigned to me instead of navigating around looking through other competitions, because you'll notice in past has our Kansas City, the other competitions we hosted this year as well. So that's when it's time to then just go to my reviews. So again, after June 13th, when all the portfolios have been assigned to you, and you will receive emails letting you know that that has happened as well. So don't think, oh, have they been assigned to me? Have they not been assigned to me? You'll receive an automatic email once that's officially completed. So that'll help you as well complete that. So again, here, obviously we've had multiple trainings this year so far through the school year, so there's going to be multiple portfolios here. We're not sure. It depends on how many submissions we receive as well as the number of judges they're able to recruit. So we're not sure how many portfolios at this time you're going to be able to be asked to review, but they will all be listed here. So at that time, when you're first logging in for the first time, they will all be listed as active. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on one. And right when you pulls up for you, you will notice as well that it takes you to the cover page. So again, you're going to see an overview of the student's work, maybe a picture. Some of them will actually have pictures of their team or their group, as well as their names, school name, just additional information. That is one field that you actually do not review. It's just kind of like an FYI. That's available for you there as well. And one thing I always like to bring up at this point as well is that the Innovation Portal is saving every couple of seconds. So once you start the judging process, let's say something comes up. You thought you had an hour or two to review a portfolio. Your phone rings, you need to take it, it's work-related, family-related. That's fine. All your previous work and comments, everything that you have done like that have been saved. So you don't have to worry about hitting a save button. It's automatically saving every couple of microseconds. So nothing needs to be done there as well when it comes time to reviewing the portfolios. So a lot of times when you're first, go ahead.
And then before we jump into actually looking at the student work, this is the portfolio that students work on, and we like to make the analogy of a 3-ring binder. So there are tabs along the right-hand side that you see, and those are kind of like tabs on a 3-ring binder. What you're looking at now is just a cover page. You could think about it as the plastic insert in the front of the 3-ring binder. It doesn't really have any content that you'd want to evaluate, but it's just there students can put whatever they want there, but there's nothing to actually grade. Each tab, if you click on each of those letters along the side, you'll actually be jumped to a specific piece of work that to evaluate from the students, like flipping to a specific tab with pages in a 3-ring binder.
Okay. So again, like Elliot said, you're in a binder, so sometimes judges, when they initially start, they like just to kind of navigate around, see, maybe not read everything word for word, but just kind of understand the size of the portfolio and everything like that. And then once you come to a portfolio, you'll see the rubric as well as the score that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. As well, at this time, I always like to kind of go over, talk a little bit about the rubric and where it came from. The rubric will be referred to as the EDPSSR. Try and say that 5 times. But it has been extremely embedded. It was initially created in 2010 for a group of individuals that were looking to create a universal rubric, something that everyone could use that kind of set the standard for all individuals. It was secondary educators, college professors, admissions officers, everyone was looking at it and working on it as well. So it's been extremely embedded. Professionals reviewed it. So it is extremely important to kind of review the rubric and understand that there was a lot of logic and theory and discussions that went around this rubric for the reason on why this rubric is being used and for this as well. As well, when you come here, you can see what a 1 is. Another great feature, because when you're traditionally at a science fair and you're walking around with your clipboard, you have an understanding of the quality of work that's in the classroom or in the room. You understand probably just from looking at the top, everyone's work in the science fair, what the top 5 scores are going to come in at and what they're going to be. For this, you don't have the ability of seeing everyone's work or at least being able to glance at it. So that's why it's important to review these scored element examples. So right here is a 1. There's a description of what a 1 is. And you can click on this, and that's actually what a 1 would look like. That's an example of the score of a 1. The same is true for 2, 3, 4, and 5. So each element has, I guess, a large majority of the scores actually have an example of what a 4 was given. And this is the quality of a 4, this is the quality of a 3, and this is the quality of a 5. So do make sure that you review those and you understand what that is. As well as it's an even stair step. So there should be the same difference between a score of a 1 to 2 as a score of a 4 to 5. So you want to kind of keep the same theory or I guess knowledge of that as well as when you're reviewing to help you understand where everything's going and everything's even as well. And when it comes time to review the portfolio, you might get down to maybe elements F or G and say, oh, they discussed that in element A. That doesn't matter. When you're reviewing elements, it's just on that quality of work within that element. So when you review A, that rubric you should only be reviewing the quality of work that's on element A, only review the quality of work that's on element F. Nothing that was said previously or nothing that maybe you read a little bit later. Only the quality and the information that's on there. And then the only difference to that is for M and N. M and N will actually be blank. No content will be available. And these are just essentially reviewing the portfolio as a whole. So letters A through L, you essentially review just in that element. And then for M and N, you review it as a whole. The entire portfolio, you take that into play. Now again, for this, there aren't any scored elements or any kind of scored examples for M and N, which is fine because that's truly where your expertise and your knowledge of their previous work can come into place and what you're providing them there as well. So kind of going over that, the element, M and N as well, it's then time to then actually review and where you can navigate to actually review portfolios. And that will be in the bottom right-hand panel, right-hand corner with the review tab or the icon. You just simply click on that and it will then come up for you. Again, you can go 1 or 2. You can hit the plus sign and it kind of gives you the definition of what a 1 is. You can go back and forth, 3, 2, and 5, as well as you can move that around if you'd like. This allows you to scroll. It's kind of whatever makes you comfortable. So you're reading through this, you've gone back and forth, you decide to give them a 3. Just simply click on 3, there, as well as leaving comments or notes is probably just as important as actually assigning a value. Because if there's a close competition or a close score, Paul and Liz are going to go to the judge comments and see what the judges left and why they left that comment and why that score was assigned. And they do that by reviewing the comments. I know Elliot and I just previously completed a competition, and believe it or not, the top 3 scores were all separated by less than a point. So we had to really value the judges' feedback and comments that were provided to help us be able to make that definition of the first, second, and third place schools for the competition. So again, we'll assign this a 3. We'll put our comment here. And then from there, we can just simply go on to element C. Again, if maybe we were reading a little bit, well, maybe I should have maybe, or you want to see if your work has been saved, it will be there. B, there's my 3, and our comment is there as well. So you'll continue down, do the same thing for C. You have your different scoring numbers, what the definition is, as well as examples provided to you as well. So we'll go ahead and give them a 4. We can just go. And you can put as much or as little as you would like as well in your comments as well. Again, we'd like it to have some kind of substance, not just this is great work. Put something on why you gave that a 4, but you can go in as much detail as possible as well. I think there's a very large character limit, so I'm not too worried about you actually not being able to put everything you'd like to put. If I can type today. Okay. And then you'll continue down doing every element step by step and following that as well. And then when it becomes time, you've gone all the way through, you've done A through M. If you get to a portfolio and let's see, like you go to H, and there actually wasn't anything here, there wasn't any content here, we do ask that you go ahead and assign them a 0 instead of leaving it blank. Because when it comes time to average their score and what the scores that you gave that portfolio, a 0 is what they essentially deserve because they didn't actually complete it. If you leave it a question mark, that's going to throw the averages off a little bit as well.
Also, the 0 and question mark, sometimes judges miss one of the elements to review, and by putting a 0 in tells us that it was intentionally a 0 and not just an accidental leaving it out. So a question mark is counted as a 0, but the 0 helps us know that you intentionally put it as a 0 instead of leaving it blank.
Correct. And then after you go through, you've gone back and forth, it's then time to complete the review. You're 100% happy. So Elliot always likes to kind of describe this as the Amazon shopping cart. You get to review your order or your online order before you officially click submit. And this would be your chance to make sure that, 1, all of your comments went through, which they did, and my scores are there as well. So again, when you're going through this, you want to make sure you have a comment and a score in each element. And then once you're happy with that, you then can go ahead and click I understand and wish to complete this review. Now, once you click complete this review, you're unable to change. You can't, like a day later or a couple hours later, think that, I wish I would have gave him a 2 instead of a 3 there. Once you click complete review, everything is completed and you're not able to go back. So here we're happy with everything. Again, there'd be numbers in all elements as well as comments everywhere. We'll go ahead and complete the review. And then here's the one that we just were reviewing, and that will show complete. Now, I do have the ability to go back in there and review the portfolio as well and kind of see what the quality of work was, and even review my summary that I gave them and my comments and my notes, but I don't have the ability to actually change anything. So again, that's why it's super important that when it's time to go there, you are 100% happy, but I do understand you always can go back there and review that as well. And then at that time, you just would simply follow the same process that I just went through for the next portfolio, the next project. And they'll always show as complete or active as well if you've reviewed them or not. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to go into any detail along that as well. That kind of gives you an idea of where they will be. And a lot of judges always ask for how long it takes to review each portfolio. it's always about an hour for the first one, especially if you're a new judge, because you're trying to understand the rubric. You're trying to review those examples, understand. It's a new process. When anything's new, the first time it always takes you the longest. However, as you continue on and you get in the flow and you start understanding the rubric and what is a 3, what is a 1, what is a 5, they do move a little bit quicker. So we always suggest about an hour for the first portfolio, hour to an hour and a half, and about 45 minutes to an hour from each one after that, especially if you're a new judge. And again, like I said, you can always put in 20 minutes and then come back to it the next day, that evening, just as long as you get it reviewed by that date that's been asked for you. So again, those are where those are. And I did initially talk about verifying if you are a judge or not. I think this one will work. So now, once you've accepted your invitation as well, you can then click on that opportunity and you'll have this bar here that'll show up. So again, this will say the Wisconsin Engineering Design Competition, not the training example. There'll be the reviews. If you see that review icon, that means that you are officially registered to be a judge. And everything will go through when Paul and Liz assign the portfolios out to the different judges. So that's something to review beforehand, making sure you are connected. So we're not trying to get you connected beforehand because it is extremely hard to accept an invitation after the portfolios have already been assigned out, as you can imagine. That's why it's important to do that as well.
And
so again,
all the judges on the call, except for Joan Henry, are currently in as a judge on the competition. So, Joan, if you want to stay after we finish up here, we can help you make sure that we get you connected.
Great. So again, my reviews, that's where they are. Me personally, I always think it's easiest just to click on my reviews because they're going to be there for you and they're going to show active or complete. And it kind of helps you instead of navigating around. It's just one icon you need to click on. So that brings me around around the innovation portal, around reviewing student scores, assigning them, making changes and everything along those lines as well. Does anyone have any questions or anything like that? Okay. Well, real quickly, before I turn it back over to Paul for any kind of closing comments or anything like that, we just kind of want to go over what you're expecting to receive. So again, in a couple of days, maybe today, I do know that Paul said Liz is traveling right now, so maybe she won't be able to get this email out right away. We will be sending you a PDF of a step-by-step guide for judges, so how to navigate around, what to click on, how to get there, as well as reflective questions from the portal, as well as the rubric. A lot of people like to review the rubric beforehand because it is going to be a very unusual rubric than what you're traditionally used to. A lot of times you see a rubric, it's a 1 through 4 with a sentence explanation of what a 1 is and a sentence explanation of what a 2 is, if you're lucky. Some of them are just maybe even less information than that. You just, on your own determination, do a 1 through 5. But because, again, you're not seeing the quality of work in the room, because this is a virtual science fair per se, it's important to really review that rubric and make sure you understand it as well. So some people print it off and actually have it next to them. When they're reviewing portfolios, everyone kind of does a little bit different, just a couple of suggestions. Make sure your browser's update as well. We've learned that Google Chrome and Firefox are the suggested browsers for the Innovation Portal. Safari as well as Internet Explorer will work. However, there will be some features that you won't have access to or you won't see. So essentially, like that little review icon that was in the bottom right-hand corner might not be there on certain Internet Explorer browsers. It doesn't look like it should be there, but you know it's there from the training. So that's why it's super important that you use Google Chrome and Firefox, as well as making sure your browser is the most current up-to-date one as well. Again, make sure you are successfully connected to the competition, which Elliot has been able to verify for individuals that are on the phone. And again, there's that judging window from June 13th to the 27th, and we do ask that you have all portfolios submitted by June 27th. If something comes up, we understand this is the end of the year, 4th of July is coming after that, but hopefully they're missing that. But if maybe you have to travel for business or something happens that's going to take you away from work for a couple of days or take you away from being able to judge, we ask that you do go ahead and notify Liz and Paul. Let them know that maybe you're only going to be able to judge one portfolio, or maybe you're not going to be able to judge at all. Let them know that so then they can reassign the portfolios to judges, because we don't want June 27th to come and there's 4 or 5 portfolios that maybe only had one individual review them. Because we need to have multiple reviews for multiple portfolios to ensure then that it's a fair competition, because we just can't let one person that only reviewed 3 portfolios be able to have say in who wins as well. So that's why it's important to reach out to Paul and Liz and let them know that some kind of conflict has happened and you're going to be unable to judge or judge all the portfolios that were assigned to them. So that's all that I have. I will turn it over to Paul here. Is there any other questions that we can answer for you? Okay, not seeing any. Like I said, Elliot and myself will stay on the phone to help anyone, and you can have it back, Paul. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ryan and Elliot. Appreciate your time today. And judges, I appreciate your time as well. Liz will be communicating with you. She is back tomorrow, so it was just a quick trip out, and so she will be back in the office right away on Thursday. But I will email her this afternoon and make sure that as she's waiting for her flight tomorrow, maybe she can send out the information that you have, Ryan, that you're going to be forwarding to us. And then I'll make sure that she takes care of that. So everybody, thank you again for your time today, and we will get the portfolios assigned and get you notified of those, and please let us know if you have any questions. So thanks again, and I hope you all have a great day.